This is Dan from Dan's Urban Survival and Prepping. Let's talk about survival skills right after the intro. Of all the videos I've ever done, 4 reasons not to bug out after an SHTF event has probably been my most popular and my most controversial. I still, a year later, get hundreds of emails and hundreds of comments on this video, and I wanted to talk about some of them today. In that video, there's a section where I talk about street gangs such as the Bloods, the Crips, LMA, the Mexican Mafia, Aryan Brotherhood, those types of gangs. I talk about those gangs after a SHTF event, beginning to set up fiefdoms to gain control of actual areas of land. In that video, I talk about street gangs, and street gangs taking over distribution centers such as Walmart, Sam's Club, Costco, their distribution centers where the trucks go to replenish the stores, and beginning to build little fiefdoms. I also talk about the gangs in their most dangerous sense, jumping on people and taxing them to get in and out of areas. And I get a lot of comments about that, such as, oh, street gangs aren't very smart, they don't have very good guns, they don't shoot well, they'll never be that much of a danger. And I think that kind of thinking, that kind of overconfidence on the mindset of the prepper or survivalist will get many preppers and many survivalists killed. Now let's talk about why. A wise man once said, overconfidence leads to a great and terrible fall. And I believe that to be true. Yes, as a prepper or survivalist, you may have the best weapon systems in the world. You may have thousands and thousands of rounds of ammunition. But that does not make you undefeatable. That does not make you Superman by any means of the word. Do you have the skill sets necessary to defend your home and your property if your firearm for some reason is not available? If your weapon systems malfunction? Do you have the skill sets available to assure that violent people never actually even get close enough to your home or your retreat in order to ever start being a danger? The reason I ask these questions and hope that you will ponder them goes back to what I was talking about with the street gangs. They run in packs. There's always 8, 10, 12 or more of them. If they decided to attack your homestead, if they decided to attack you, irregardless of how much time you have spent at the range, irregardless of how much tactical practice you have and tactical gear you have, you will find yourself in a world of hurt and in the suck. And this is why. It's a fact of life that the bad guy only has to get lucky once to take your things. You, on the other hand, in an SHTF event, have to be perfect every time. Even if you manage to drive them off, they will come back, and they will come back in greater numbers. And that leads to the point that I made earlier. They only have to catch you on a bad day once to win and take your things. You have to be on the top of your game at all times. It's really stressful, but it is a truth that needs to be thought about and implemented in your planning. Now on to how will these gangs gain the numbers and the people and the allegiance of those people that they need in order to become a real threat. As I said in my video, 4 reasons not to bug out after SHTF. If one of these gangs gains control over a food distribution center or a Walmart distribution center, which could easily be done, they then have food and other supplies that people are going to be in desperate need of. And nothing beats the ability to feed people and to provide them protection and safety. Nothing will build allegiance quicker. And it would take a very short time in a large-scale SHTF event for such a group to be able to amass a small army. And honestly, this would be too much for the average retreat or group to take on their own. Which brings me back to a point that I hammer day and night, night and day in my videos. Building community. These types of groups will overwhelm most retreats. They will overwhelm most prepper compounds without too much of a thought because of their sheer numbers. Well, it sounds like you're saying, Dan, that it's impossible to keep our preps, that somebody's just going to come in and take them in one way or another after an SHTF event. No, I am not saying that at all. I am saying that there are steps you can take, planning you can make now, that can set in motion a case of events that will allow you to be able to survive and thrive after an SHTF event with little or no use of going to arms, by building community, by building networks, by training and learning proper patrolling, proper interdiction, by learning skills necessary to defend yourself and defend your things without the use of firearms, will put you well above the bell curve. Whether urban or rural, it cannot be done alone. You have to have a network. You have to begin setting up that network now. It's good to make friends with other preppers that are maybe a state away, maybe several states away, because you never know. And those networks will be a constant help in anything that you need to get trained or prepared for now. And I guess my biggest point is now. It is good times now. This is the time to learn and practice those skills that you will need if there is an SHTF situation. So I look forward to hearing all your comments below. If you like this kind of content, please hit the thumbs up button. If you want to see more of this content, please hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon so you'll be notified every time I put up a new video. And until next time, this is Dan from Dan's Urban Survival and Prepping. Take care of each other.